You are now live with me, G3, and tonight we are going to talk politics with former senator and current campaign manager of the Leni and Kiko tandem, Sir Bam Aquino. But before that, I have so many people to thank. I want to thank Asian Eye Institute. I had my LASIK surgery last Tuesday, and to be honest, everything is still hazy and kind of glary. It's my first time to sit in front of a ring light. I want to thank Dr. Cruz who performed my surgery. I want to thank GAOC who's helping me with my TMJ, my TMD. I was corrected, it's TMD. I want to thank Bello Beauty for all of my treatments, Dr. Vicky Bello. I want to thank Swatch PH for providing all of my watches. Thank you so much, Tita Virgie Ramos. If you want to get your own Swatch watches, you can go to any Swatch PH store or Lazada PH. I want to thank my water sponsor, Evian. This is the Sakura edition. Very soon, they will have the nude edition. And I want to greet my One Mega Group family a happy 30th anniversary. They sent over some pink Moscato, which I'm drinking tonight, but it doesn't really look pink. They also sent me flowers and a bunch of stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. Let us check if Senator Bam is already here. Hi, guys. Okay, let me search for him. Request to join. Parang hindi ko siya mahanap. So, Senator Bam, if you are here, please send a request. Otherwise, let me search for him. Hi, guys. Kamusta kayo? Bam Aquino. Okay, I am. How are you guys doing tonight? Everything is blurry. I can't read your comments very well, but yes, I've already sent an invite for him to join me on Instagram Live. Hello, who's here? Hi. Watching from Oriental Mindoro. You're so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I can't actually wear makeup for 6 days. So this is like the 6th day. For 5 days. So this is like the 6th day. So yeah, let me invite him again. Bam. Aquino. There. Send another invite. Hello from Pila, Laguna. Pila ba or Pili? There, accept. Friends, Rufy, you have to be quiet. My dog is chasing a cat. So, friends, please welcome Bam Aquino, unable to join. Wait, why is that happening? My request wasn't sent. Wait, let me, yeah, accept. Hello, watching from LA. Ganda mo. Hi, Miss G. I can't seem to accept it. And what's happening? There.
I'm here!
There!
Di ko ma...
Hi, Bam!
Hi, G3! Hello!
Pink na pink.
Of course, syempre, pink is the color of our lives these days.
I know! Way of life na daw siya. It's a lifestyle. Do you agree?
It is. Tsaka we're quite happy with the pink explosion everywhere, no? So, maraming taong lumalabas with pink, so we're very happy about that. Sorry, I'm late. Hindi ko mapindot yung request button.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, like, Instagram Live is, like, very new also. So, I want to start with a very hard question, a difficult question. Is that okay with you? Kamusta ka muna?
Sure.
Kamusta ka pala muna? Sobrang busy ka, thank you. At pinaunlakan mo ko.
Of course. People don't know na magkaibigan tayo since we were 8.
8? Oh my God. And we are 35 na now, no?
So, ano ho, kami ni G3 were friends since we were in grade 3, I think.
Yeah, since grade 3. Oh my God, that was such a long time ago. So I want to start with a difficult question. I want to ask you, of course, about you are a political legacy, and I assume that your last name has been an advantage to you for most of your life, if not all of your life. But I want to ask, was there ever a time when you felt that your last name was disadvantageous to you, particularly and specifically during the last senatorial elections?
Well, I mean, politically, yes, I guess, no? I mean, during the last 5 years, si Pinoy, no, may his soul rest in peace, was really maligned, attacked. Kahit ako, I was attacked. And for 6 months during the 2019 elections, ako yung pinakamaraming fake news na nilabas sa akin. No? So, it goes with the territory, G3. No? Ganun talaga. If you're in politics, if you're in public service, dapat sanay ka naman. You should tanggap mo na that when you go into this arena, meron talagang advantages and disadvantages. And I think, our family, may ups and downs talaga eh. I mean, people forget, si Tito Ninoy, bago siya pinatay, nakulong siya for 8 years, no? And then, of course, my time that Tita Cory and Pinoy were president, but after that, sobra rin silang inatake, no? So, alam mo yun, dapat you should really tanggapin mo na may ups and downs talaga ang buhay natin. It can't all be up, and obviously kung down ka, you eventually aakyat rin yan. But what I find naman is your friends, your family, the people that you work with, the people that you care about and who care about you, steady lang sila, no? Hindi nila nakikita yung advantage or disadvantage. They just know you for who you are and for what you really believe in, no?
What can they possibly say about you that's fake? Ano yung mga sinasabi nila about you?
Marami, no? Diyos ko.
Like
No,
what, for
everything
example?
For example, we had a bill, yung anti-food waste bill. That was a really important bill to solve hunger. Alam mo, ngayon, ang raming nagugutom ngayon, di ba? And that basically allowed private establishments to share their food in a more sustainable way. So, nakita natin yan, yung mga community pantry, di ba? Yung mga people shared, yung mga dilata nila, yung mga gulay nila. Very similar to that, no? Food that is not sold in groceries, for example, na siguro yung malapit na mag-expire, pero definitely hindi pa siya expired, could be given to the FWD and redistributed to more people. And this is a common law in Korea, in Japan, in France. Basically, sinisigurado mo na yung pagkain hindi nasasayang at
Walang wastage. Oo.
Walang wastage. But of course, yung mga trolls, ginawa nilang pagpag-bill as if to say na yung mga tirang pagkain yung pamimigay mo. And obviously, maling-mali yun, di ba? So that was my first big trolling, no? Actually, yung trolling, nagsimula yan cute eh. Okay, it was cute. Somebody used to change my Wikipedia page at ginagawa nila, Senator Bam Aquino is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Sino ka daw dun sa apat?
Hindi niya sinabi kung sino. I am my own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Isipin mo araw-araw merong would go to the Wikipedia page, change it. Of course, papalitan namin by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, papalitan ulit niya. So, cute lang eh. Okay lang, di ba?
Yeah.
But it got worse eh. It got worse. Nagkaroon ng, violent speech, murahan, threats, and then eventually yung mga bills mo, binabali-baliktad. There was this famous fake news na supposedly may tinayo akong CR na walang mga harang.
Sa'yo ba nila in-attribute yun?
Sa akin, sa akin.
Nakita ko yun.
So, I don't think I'm the only one. I think marami naman kaming na-troll with that, but that came out a lot also. Marami actually, when I was still in the Senate, the day after the elections, and unfortunately, I didn't make it. I had zero.
Close though. So close.
Really close, but I had zero trolling the day after the elections. So alam ko talaga na it's a political tool. No? Your opponents, ginagamit talaga nila. Hindi siya yung tipo na, kasi ngayon, yung mga taong, siguro, may complaint sila against a certain politician, galing talaga sa tao. Di ba? At that time, I felt na, okay, it was a political tool na ginamit sa akin. But again, G3, that's really part of the territory. I'm sure even you get a lot of trolling as well. As
After tonight, I'm sure. From the BBM supporters, apologists. Anyway, you were talking about the past elections. You said pati yung mga toilet, in-attribute sa'yo, yung mga walang harang. The mayor of Manila, he said in one of his speeches na inidoro kayo. Parang yun yung term na ginamit niya. I saw that speech and he said, tinan mo nangyari sa kanila na inidoro sila. How do you feel when you hear somebody as prominent as he is say that?
Well, alam mo, again, marami sa amin na shock na yun yung mga salitang ginamit niya. No? Because otherwise, okay naman yung relationship namin with Yorme. Even though mag-aaway kami sa politika ngayon, we did have a lot of good relations in the past. Pagdating kasi sa politika, G3, ganun talaga, no? Things will be said things will be said and things will be thrown at you. Pero yung importante, alam mo talaga kung nasaan ka, no? Where are we now? When VP Leni gave her announcement speech last October 7, marami talagang nagulat, no? Kahit kami, nagulat kami with the reception. Yung paglabas ng pagmamahal at paglabas ng kasiyahan na tatakbo siya, it was really overwhelming. So we can understand kung paano yung mga opponents politically, baka kung ano ng mga sasabihin nila. But at this point, I think yung mahalaga is you focus on what you have now, you focus on trying to improve in the campaign, and you focus on continuing to help people. Kasi si VP Leni naman, hindi naman tumigil sa pagtulong sa mga tao, tuloy-tuloy naman yon. So hindi dapat siya ma-distract, no, sa mga ganyang klaseng bangayan.
That's true, that's true. I want to ask, before VP Leni asked you to be her campaign manager again, this time for her presidency, do you have any plans of running for the Senate again?
To be honest, last year, parang wala na, no? Wala na because last year, I was praying over it, and yung naging reflection ko was, I'm gonna help VP Leni to try to unite the different parts of the opposition, no? And I felt it was important to do that. And we did try to meet all of these individuals at mga presidentiables, kinita namin, trying to talk about...
Lahat, pati Yorme.
Yes. Try to talk about a unified front, no, against the administration. Of course, in the end, hindi siya nag-work, no? But by that time, my numbers had really gone up, no? Umabot ako sa top 10.
Oo.
Yeah. So sabi ko nga when, alam mo yon, wala talagang madali sa mundo. So when VP Leni decided to run, and that was just a few days before her announcement, kinuusap niya ako at sabi niya, Sen, I need you to help me here. So of course, umuo naman ako. I ran her campaign in 2016, di ba?
That's true, yeah.
So for a time, for like 2 days, naisip ko baka pwede ko ipagsabay. Baka pwede siyang, I could run for and be a campaign manager. But, I talked to my wife, I talked to my parents, tapos yung nanay ko na yung nagsabi na, can you honestly say that you did your best if you did both? Kaya ba ng konsyensya mo na ginawa mo yung lahat na magagawa mo kung dalawa yung gagawin mo? And the answer was no. You can't do both and do well for both. Di ba? Kailangan pumili ka talaga. And yung nanay ko yung nagsabi, ano ba yung mas mahalagang laban? No? Ano ba yung mas importante ngayon? And, I think kaya alam mo naman mami ko, G3, from way back.
Yes, very gracious of her to say that. And very gracious of you, actually. What did Timmy say? Ano yung advice niya sa'yo?
Si Timmy was quiet lang. Sabi niya sa akin, whatever you choose, I'll be with you 100%. So, when my mother said that, and alam mo naman yung nanay ko, talagang siya yung parang moral compass ko talaga. So, sinabi niya, it became clear to me na you have to choose the more important fight. And that's VP Leni's fight. So I don't mind being in the background now, working on different things, Sa totoo lang, biglaan talaga yung choice niya. So naghahabol kami. Naghahabol talaga in many, many fronts, no? And hopefully by November, the structures, the campaign office, everything will be set up.
Very selfless of you, syempre, di ba? Parang, since I posted that you were going to be a guest on my show, parang some reactions were very disappointed that he did not run for the Senate this time around because your numbers are really good, di ba? But again, like you explaining that this is a higher calling, I understand it now. How do you think the political landscape changed from the time that you ran for Senate the last time to now?
As in, what a big change, right?
Different ball game, no?
Oh, in 2013, Facebook was basically an announcement platform for me. Yes. Mag-a-announce lang, di ba? Oh, ito yung isusulong kong bill. Ito na yung sa proseso. Nandito na tayo, ganyan. And then it all changed in 2016 when, Facebook was weaponized, so to speak, di ba? Kumbaga, nagamit talaga siya bilang a political tool, no?
Yeah.
And it blew up. And here, of course, we had President Duterte winning. In America, we had President Trump winning. Brexit. All of these big changes in the world were largely because of social media. So ibang-iba. Ibang-iba siya from when I started. Ibang-iba siya when 2016 happened. And now, ibang-iba na naman, no? Because, si mo G3, in 2019 na lang. In the 2019 campaign, nasa opposition ako. And people were so afraid to show support. You know, gusto nilang tumulong pero patago. Imi-meet ka ng mga mayor pero doon kayo sa pinakalikod ng hotel, no? Para lang hindi kayo makita together, hindi kayo mapicturean together. And now, it's so different because in 2021, with the campings, no, tsaka itong pag-announce ni VP Leni, now, parang that climate of fear na nawala, no? Parang yung takot ng maraming tao na magsalita, parang nawala. And now everyone is so proud to support the Vice President. You saw the caravan nung isang araw.
Right.
Libo-libong mga tao lumabas talaga to support her. So, parang you could say that it was so different from 2010 to 2016. It was so different from 2016 until October 7. And ngayon parang iba na naman. To October 7 probably hanggang Mayo 2022.
Land and sea talaga. Kulang na lang air, no? Mga lumilipad na aeroplano na pink, di ba? Considering that you're right, kasi parang I don't think they're going to be very large political rallies, especially for, you know, the campaign period next year. I think the arena will really be in the social media sphere. It's very expansive, but it's going to be global and everything. What are the steps you are taking to improve her social media viability, her social media exposure? Kasi when I look at her Instagram, parang konti lang yung followers and stuff, and then she's not yet on TikTok. And, you know, parang when I look at the figures ng mga first-time voters, ito talaga yung platforms na sinusupport nila na kung saan sila nagpa-participate. So what are the steps being taken to improve her standing on these very, very new platforms?
Yes. You know, G3, it's not just a matter kasi of being on the platform. Kailangan yung content is really engaging, no? So we have a lot of volunteers from the advertising, marketing, creatives industry. We're asking for their help para yung mailabas na content talagang maganda. It's not enough kasi nandiyan ka eh. Di ba? Kahit nandiyan ka, hindi naman maganda yung content mo, hindi maayos yung paggagawa ng content mo, hindi ka rin naman tatangkilikin ng mga tao. So, we're getting a lot of help there. And then, watch out. Watch out for the TikTok page of VP Leni. No? Kakaroon rin yan. Honestly, ako kasi, pwede ko bang sabihin na hindi ako TikTok person pa? You know what I mean? Pero yan, ng mga SOCMED, kasama namin sa SOCMED na dapat everybody should immerse in TikTok. So, who knows?
It's number one. Yeah, it's number one. Even more than Instagram.
Yeah, so it's the new way of communicating. It's the new way of getting your message across. So, ang mas mahalaga, umabot yung mensahe mo. So, itong mga bagong platform or itong mga platform na to, we will have to engage and we will have to be there, no? But ako no? So, from October 7 until now, real people are outdoing the bots and the trolls. Real people coming out, kaya niyang makipagsabay. In fact, lampas-lampas pa eh. So that's really the challenge, I think, na yung mga supporters, yung mga naniniwala kay VP Leni, mga kakamping, talagang aktibo rin, no? Aktibo rin sa social media on different platforms. And you just have to be there. But G3, if I may just also say, yes, mahalaga yung online, pero at the end of the day, this will be won in the voting booth. So it's a ground campaign. If you want to help the Vice President, yes, okay okay mag-post ng something online, pero mas mahalaga, put the phone down, talk to your loved ones, talk to the people around you, kausapin ng heart-to-heart yung mga kasama mo, because that's the way we will convince more people. Kasi right now, even though our feeds are pink, we know that she's in the minority. Malayo pa siya sa winning circle, di ba? It's probably another 30 points before she gets to that point na kaya niyang manalo. So every day is a challenge. Maganap tayo na makakausap and kausapin natin kung bakit mas okay si VP Leni na iboto kaysa sa iba.
That's actually a very great insight because, you know, that requires a lot of patience. Kasi syempre, when you talk about people that do not support her, it's very, like me, I block like siguro mga 100 BBM supporters every day. And sometimes you engage them, they really, really get to you. Sobra siyang nakakainis, di ba? But again, I want to pick up on what you said na this is a people's initiative na parang it's very organic. you were telling me that you were pleasantly surprised about the pink explosion that happened the day that she announced her bid for the presidency. My question is, because I attended like one of the volunteer meetings, I was invited by Mitch Dulce, and parang everyone was looking for guidance. They were looking for some sort of centrality, a streamlined way of comms. Parang I recognize and I understand that the problem with having a people's initiative is that it's so scattered, di ba? Parang it's coming from all directions, which is a great thing, di ba? It's coming from all directions. You have a lot of volunteers. The challenge now is very logistic, how to streamline it, di ba? How to, communicate a central message like yung kay Marcos Jr. is babangon muli, yung kay Yorme is, I forget what his slogan is, but how are you able to centralize and streamline a unified central comms, knowing that every suggestion and every volunteer is coming from every different direction?
So we embrace the chaos, G3. Kasi we live in a new world na eh. Hindi na siya single line. We don't live in that world anymore, no? Nung unang panahon, when I first ran, meron kang TV ad, yun na yun. Meron kang ad, yun na yun. Ngayon, people make their own ads. People make their own stickers in ways which are, they outpace the previous elections. Kumbaga, yung mga user-generated content noong 2010, 2013, wala na lahat yun. Ngayon, people don't say, send me a tarpaulin. Ang sinasabi nila, send me the file at ako nang bahala, di ba? And most likely, lalabas nila will even be modified to fit their own personality. Yes. So, we embrace that. We embrace the fact that nung caravan, there was hardly any instructions talaga. Parang people organized on their own. It was very organic, organized online, and the visuals, the materials na nilabas nila were their own. Kumbaga, ano yung pinakagandang tarpaulin? Yung gawa mo. Diba? Ano yung magandang t-shirt or cap? Syempre, yung gawa mo rin, diba? That's the best. So, yes, there will be, of course, merong comms yan, merong mga slogans, merong mga commercials. That will happen. But while happening, equally as important, kumbaga kasing halaga ng nun, is really all of this user-generated content na galing talaga sa mga tao yung gumagawa. Even the color pink, G3, no? So,
pati nga yung Pantone eh. Parang pati yung exact Pantone, tinatanong, ano ba yung exact Pantone? So, should it matter, the exact Pantone?
That's such a funny conversation. I saw it in one of our threads. Is this watermelon pink? Yun yung tanong. Yung sinagot ng asawa ko, no, it's the people's pink. Which means, kahit anong pink na meron ka, yun yung tamang pink. Diba? So, we're really embracing this volunteer-led people's campaign. A day before, or maybe 2 days before her announcement, tinatanong ako ni VP, anong kulay natin? Anong magandang kulay? And, so somebody suggested white, no? Kasi parang anti-corruption. And then somebody said, baka dapat green. And then teka, mukhang si Sarah yata, magi-green na yata siya.
Yeah.
So we were choosing all of these colors. And then nanggaling na rin kay VP. Sabi niya, alam mo, yung isang volunteer group, nung hinihikayat nila akong tumakbo, nagtali ng mga pink ribbon. Why don't we go with pink to honor them? I'm like, okay, great. Syempre, nung una, hindi ko gusto kasi I haven't worn pink ever in my life. Like, never ako, I'm a blue or black guy, di ba? Blue, black, really dark colors. So I said...
Pero pink looks good on you, ha? You look young.
Thank you. So,
fuchsia. That's fuchsia, diba? Hot pink.
Fuchsia. Anak ng fuchsia. Diba? So, so sabi niya, let's honor the volunteers by choosing pink. And she started to use pink. People started to use pink. And it just caught on. And sabi ko nga, the Vice President deserves her own color. And that's pink. So we're going with it, diba?
Yeah, pink explosion, like you said. Why was it necessary to move her away from the color yellow?
Because that's the Aquino color, and she's Leni Robredo, and she deserves her own color. I made that very clear to a lot of people who are asking, bakit hindi nag-yellow si VP? And I kept on saying, well, kasi si yellow came from Tito Ninoy, pumasok kay Tita Cory, kay Pinoy. Of course, I also wore yellow. Even in 2019, may yellow emblems ako, di ba?
Yeah.
But if you're running for president, you need your own color. Diba, G3? Kailangan
Yes.
ikaw na yung front and center dito eh. So you have your own color, you have your own agenda. Everybody else is here to support you. And I felt it was the right message rin. That she is the vice president, running for president, she will be our next president. And just ko naman, if you're running for president, you deserve your own color, diba? And her
That's
color
true.
is the color of the volunteers, which is pink.
Yes. And it's never been used before. That's why it's so fresh. That's why it's so viral, diba?
So
You're
actually,
pretty sure, yes, you're pretty sure
may gumamit
that...
na ng pink, G3. May gumamit na ng
Oh.
pink. If I'm not
Ano,
mistaken,
ano?
Bayani Fernando, way back when,
Meron na.
I think nag-pink siya. My cousin Lenlen Oreta in Malabon, naka-pink rin siya. So meron naman, but
Meron na pala. Oo. But not this national level. Not on a national level.
yes. Remember before, yung MMDA natin puro pink, yung si Chairman Bayani. Alam mo yun?
BF. Oo, si BF.
Oo. So,
Oo.
to be fair to him, nag-pink rin siya. Pero I think for a presidential run, nobody's ever used pink.
Yes. This is the first time, really. Do you think that the Liberal Party that has forever been yellow will eventually endorse her as president?
Oh yes, yes. They're part of the coalition. Kasama naman ng LP sa coalition na sumusuporta sa kanya. There are like 4 or 5 parties supporting that.
Wow, that's a lot, diba?
Mm.
There have been like very strong opinions and criticisms about the Leni-Kiko senatorial slate, diba? Parang meron mga questionable names in the slate. And I wanted to ask you, how would you explain to people who question the senatorial slate? Because even I was surprised. Parang bakit nandito yung name na to? Diba? Parang you are, running on a campaign of, integrity and stuff like that. And there's some questionable names. I'm not gonna say who, diba? But there have been criticisms. What can you say about that?
Sino tinutukoy mo?
Ayoko kaibigan natin yung isang anak.
No, but the people on the slate are people that she's worked with in the past, no? Mga nakatrabaho niya. And if you're talking about VP Binay, no? Because of course in social media siya yung lumalabas na bakit kasama si VP Binay. To be fair to VP Binay, in 2016 when he stepped down as vice president, there were very, very few politicians who stood up against EJKs, against extrajudicial killings. In fact, nung panahong yun, marami pa yung nagsasabi na yung drug war, the best thing that happened to our country, no? Marami nagsasabi nun noon. But he was one of those politicians na napakaaga, 2016 pa lang, nagmamarcha na siya against extrajudicial killings. So, he took a stand as early as then against the killings. No? He took a stand against death penalty. And, because of those moves in the last couple of years, he also attended Isambayan, the first few meetings of Isambayan. He was chosen to be part of the slate. Marami rin doon, G3, I guess, nagtataka sila bakit sila nasama, baka nasa ibang partido o mukhang nasa administrasyon. But many of them actually have had programs with the Vice President on the ground. No? So, nagkaroon sila ng mga programa on COVID response, on feeding programs, angat buhay programs, livelihood programs. So, almost everybody there, merong yung mga programa kasama ni VP, nakatrabaho talaga niya. And that's why nung hinikayat niya to either be a main candidate or a guest candidate, pumayag naman sila.
And then I was watching the press conference that included Senator Drilon, and he said that these guest senatorial balls are not required to endorse her presidency. In fact, many of them, if not all of them, are also guest senatorial balls of other candidates, di ba? So, paano siya magiging advantage sa isang presidential candidate kung hindi naman siya i-endorse? And parang ang lumalabas, parang mas advantageous yun for the senatorial ball. Kasi under siya ng maraming parties when, one party can, make them a guest senatorial ball, but hindi naman siya i-endorse. So, paano yun advantageous for her?
Advantageous because when you win, you'll need a majority in the Senate to help you with your agenda. So, okay. Malaking bagay yon G3 na when a president wins, meron siyang majority in the Senate and Congress so that yung kanyang agenda may sulong kaagad. Number 1. Number 2, as a guest candidate, hindi naman sila mag-endorse ng kahit sino. No, they're not endorsing it. So, they may be in other slates, but currently, no, they'll be entertaining, I guess, different groups. So, ang klaro naman is that they won't be endorsing anybody at this moment or at this point.
So eventually, they will have to make an endorsement?
I think so, at some point.
At some point before the elections, of course. Like when you say, di ba parang ako rin, I'm very sure naman of this di ba parang feeling ko naman talaga good will prevail. When you say that when she wins, it's like we are very sure about that. When she wins president, it's not if she wins, when she wins president, and this is hypothetical, and she gives you dibs or she asks you, what cabinet position do you want, Bam? What cabinet position will you pick, hypothetically?
Yung aparador. Joke lang. Aparador na may mga...
Siyempre, di ba? May role ka dapat.
To be honest with you, yung ibang mga presidential balls, they talk about that, no? Anong posisyon nito, anong posisyon yan, kung manalo sila. But the Vice President has never talked about that.
Okay.
It's not about dealing favors, no? Or, kumbaga hindi niya ginagawang bargaining chip yung mga ganyang klaseng posisyon. Because alam niya na kailangan mong ilagay dyan yung marunong talaga at yung talagang makakatulong sa bayan. So, in all of the meetings I've sat with her, with kung sino-sino mga politiko, ni isang beses never niya pinag-usapan yung, ko, ikaw ganyan ka. It's just not her style. So we don't really talk about it. It's not really talked about. Of course, who wouldn't want to
But
serve?
ikaw, what do you think your competence, which cabinet position do you think your pinakabagay? Not that she will ask you or she will promise you a position, but you considering, di ba, parang your competencies and everything. Anong gusto mong department?
Ilagay ako sa pinakamahirap. Doon ako ilagay.
Ano ba yung pinakamahirap?
Lahat mahirap.
DOH? DOH?
Everything's hard, GT. We're really crisis now. I think yun klaro naman yun sa mga kababayan natin. So, each of these positions means so much. From DOH to DepEd to DTI. Ang raming buhay na kasalalay dyan. So, hindi siya dapat pinamimigay lang. Alam mo, dapat
yung pinakabagay.
But honestly, I know you want an answer. I know that. But
yes.
Respectful of the process and of the Vice President to name anything. But rest assured, many of us, I'm sure kahit ikaw, kahit sino ditong 298 with us here, kung hilingin sila na tumulong, tutulong naman. In the same way, itong campaign, maraming mga nag-leave from their work, maraming mga nag-sabbatical, maraming nag-resign para lang tumulong sa kampanya nito. And hopefully, no, kung talo siya, it will be the same. People na hilingin niya will be willing to help her.
What's your reaction to the caravan pala? I mean, like, di ba parang, like you said, like parang it was coming from all over, ganyan. Parang it wasn't really something that, it was clearly organized, but it was an initiative. Parang nung nakita mo your camp, when they saw like all over the Philippines, di ba, it was organic. It wasn't like, you know, parang set up by the campaign central, di ba? What did you feel? How did you feel? Does it, you know, parang give you this feeling of, oh my God, we can actually do this?
No, it was amazing talaga. It was siguro unprecedented. Like I've never seen a caravan na nationwide na nabuo organically. Parang I don't, maybe it's also the technology that we have now allows us to organize this way. Parang noon, hindi mo ma-imagine kung tumatawag-tawag lang yung mga tao, di ba? But because of Facebook groups, because of chats and everything, parang na-organisa siya in a very organic way. And yung maganda, G3, is that marami ring leaders nag-emerge in different parts of the country. You saw clips of people standing on top of trucks, no, instructing people where to go. Marami ring tumulong, no? I saw sa chat, nawawala po kami pero tinulungan kami ng MMDA or tinulungan kami ng police kung saan kami dapat pumunta. So, you know, you saw a lot of goodwill. You saw a lot of people also take leadership roles, which is important. Mahalaga talaga yun. And more importantly, galing sa tao. No, kami, I don't spend a single centavo for the caravan. Wala kaming ginastos doon. Everybody nag-ambag, sarili nag-ambag. And in many areas, hindi lang sila nag-caravan. Nag-feeding pa sila, nag-kampanya talaga sila.
Lugaw, oo, may mga lugaw.
So, you know, it was just really, really amazing. And I'm thank you to everybody who joined. Nakakagulat rin kasi, so in one of my other threads, I have some friends there who were like, parang nagla-live kwento sila about what was happening. Nawala daw sila, nahanap daw nila ulit yung ano. And it also seems people had fun, which is important, diba? They had genuinely a good time in the caravan.
You can see that. You can actually see that. You can see when it's really coming from the people. Would you say that this is like our version of people power in 2021?
No, malayo pa tayo. Malayo pa tayo doon. Hopefully, yung totoong kapangyarihan ng tao maipakita natin sa May 9.
The goal, the objective, I understand, is for her to garner 25 million votes. Is that correct? Somewhere
Um,
along that figure.
maybe, well, we'll see. We'll see where we are. But 40% is ano, 40% is about 25 million. But
Yes.
in a 5-corner fight, who knows, baka maging 6-corner fight pa yan.
Oh my God! Serious?
Don't know. Pero si
Oo.
naman is prepared for all comers, di ba? Handa naman siya.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess if we're looking at 40%, no, we'd be close to 25 million.
25 million. Yeah, that's gonna be unprecedented also. So I want to pick up on that. I want to ask you how you feel about a possible Marcos Jr. Sara Duterte tandem. How does your camp feel about that?
Ano naman from the start, nakita naman namin na may alignment talaga yung administration sa kanilang dalawa. So, of course, kahit pa paano, it does change some tactics on the ground, but honestly, it also does make things clearer for everybody, no? Parang mas malinaw yung
Yes.
laban na to, di ba? It becomes
Correct.
clear what you're trying to move away from, di ba? Kumbaga, kung yung gusto mo talaga is to have the change from where we are now, malinaw na malinaw kung sino yung gusto mong iwasan at kung saan ka dapat papunta.
That's what gets me actually. Malinaw na malinaw siya sa atin. Parang for us, it's very clear the delineation between good and evil. But for some, if not most people, hindi siya malinaw. I wanna ask you, di ba, parang of course we lived through martial law. I mean, we were martial law babies, di ba? Our parents and our grandparents taught us, the lessons of history of martial law. But today, there's so much, misinformation. There's so much historical revisionism prevalent, all over in social media. Like when you talk about, supporters of other parties, diba? That's really, and it's so frustrating sometimes. And I want to ask you, who do you think was at fault here, for all of this historical revisionism? Do you think it's the fault of the education system because it's not in the textbooks or it's not in the syllabus, hindi siya tinuro, or kasalanan ba to ng mga, kasi syempre, of course, nag-birth na ng at least 2 generations after us, di ba, na talagang we live through martial law and we know the realities and the truths of martial law. Pero ngayon kasi, parang it's almost Bible truth to the current generation that support that, idealism. Saan ba nang galing yung, I mean, like, I don't wanna, point the finger, but whose fault is it really na hindi siya napasa, yung mga lessons hindi napasa sa mga kabataan ngayon?
Well, marami kang pwedeng ituro, no, from the educational system to book and social media, which allows for that kind of misinformation na talagang kumalat, di ba? So, marami kang pwedeng ituro. Of course, may mga grupo na tinutulak yan and who benefit from it also. But siguro, mas mahalaga to talk about how you can actually help someone really try to find out what really happened during those times, di ba? And ano siya, G3 hindi mo siya makukuha sa social card. Hindi mo siya makukuha kung may smart video ka na ipapalabas. Alam mo yon, like, even the really good videos about martial law, I think it appeals to those like us who already feel a certain way about it, di ba? Ang kailangan mo talaga is to have a conversation. And I think yun yung nawala sa atin over the past 5 years, to really talk to the people around us.
Yeah, and to pass it on to the next generation.
To youth, to older people, to people your age, parang nawala. Plus nag-pandemic pa tayo, so parang mas may barriers pa to really talking to each other. But kung makikita mo yung campaign ngayon, the push is really, we have to put down these phones, find the people around us, and really talk to each other. No? Alamin natin. And even yung going into it na good versus evil kaagad, you're not gonna win any arguments by going at it na yun kaagad yung papasukin mo, di ba? People, you need to talk to people with an open heart, really tell them, alam ko, mahirap mo itong aminin, G, pero sabi mo, buhay na ako nung panahong yun.
Yes.
Hindi naman mukha, to be fair, di ba?
80s naman.
Ako 10 years older than you, kahit pa paano.
No! Sobrang you haven't changed. Anyway, we're digressing.
But alam mo ako, I was there during that time. Yung uncle ko kinulong for all years during that time, pinatay. and so on and so forth with so many other people who were tortured, who were killed. You can talk about yung ninakaw. Kung galit ka sa family ngayon, dapat galit ka rin sa mga ninakaw noon.
Yes.
So, alam mo yung we have to be able to talk again to each other. Kailangan may respeto, kausapin natin yung isa't isa. And I believe na we could actually change people's minds. No? Parang social media makes it look like matigas na tayong lahat. But the truth is, maybe if we, kasi yung belief ng mga ni VP Leni, yung kakamping, madali makipagdebate pero mas radical yung magmahal, di ba? So if we treat each other, talk to each other, try to go heart to heart. I mean, even if kasi ayaw mong tingnan yung nakaraan, just look at where we are now. Look at all the things the Vice President has done in terms of COVID response. Makikita mo, na siya talaga yung pinaka-need to really get us out of this crisis. So, for us who were born during that time, mas masakit when we look at this revisionism kasi nandun tayo, di ba? But for many of our countrymen, unfortunately, when they open their phones, yun lang nakikita nila. So we really have to talk heart to heart. We really have to, spend time and talk with each other. Hindi pwede yung, oh, here's a social card, here's a video, and gano'n na yun. It's not gonna work. So I'm hoping na, kasi G3, labanan din to ng kultura. Hindi lang to labanan ng kandidato. And the culture of trying to talk to each other again, respecting each other again, listening to each other again, not judging each other so fast. Kasi nandun na tayo we have to...
That's so hard!
We have to take a step back and really, open our hearts to everybody. Dun lang, that's the only way we can convince more people to vote for Leni. And that's the only way we can show na this is not where we should be. Itong lugar natin ngayon sa ating bansa, hindi dapat tayo nandito. Bagsak ekonomiya, may problema tayo sa health, mas marami ngayon yung walang trabaho, marami nagugutom. This is not where we should be. May corruption, this is not the country that we want to have our children grow up in. So, if we want to get out of this, we need to choose better leaders, di ba? And dyan yung conversation. And this is why I think VP Leni should be the one to take us out of this mess, di ba? So, alam mo yon, if you go into it kagad na medyo nakataas kagad yung kamay mo, di ba? I don't think you're gonna be able to convince anybody anyway, no?
So how would you approach somebody who is an apologist that's also an Athenian na hindi siya, alam mo yun, na meron talaga siyang paniniwala na ito talaga yung nangyari? How would you approach them to make them change their minds?
Well, first of all, I guess mahalaga dyan, may tinutukoy ka ba sa mga batchmates natin?
Meron, pero alam na niya yun kung sino siya. Pero ikaw, like, since you said like conversations are very important, it's patience. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of, engagement. So ikaw, for example, how would you approach somebody who is, an apologist and somebody who is at your level?
Kung batchmate naman natin yan, G3, ibig sabihin may pinagsamahan tayo yun, di ba? Kahit pa. And, the most convincing is not an artista or a politician or a great ad campaign. The most convincing person in your life to vote for somebody is somebody that you love and respect, talking to you heart to heart. So kung meron naman kaming pinagsamahan, siguro naman pwede ko sabihin, nung grade 5 naman tayo, di ba, bili naman kita ng Coca-Cola dun sa cafeteria, di ba? Can we have a conversation about why I believe this person is the best for our country? Just do your best. Kung talagang wala, move on to the next person. Diba? But ako, I feel na because of social media, it seems we're so divided, but there are more commonalities that we're not just, na hindi lang natin nakikita. Mas maraming mga bagay na parehas tayo. Mas maraming mga bagay na pwede tayo mag-connect. And, talk heart to heart. May mga, there was that clip of somebody, one of the bikers for Leni, no? Sabi niya, alam nyo, VP, ako, iba yung aking gusto before, pero dahil nung I think his son had passed away and they were able to get help from the OVP with vaccines. That's why ako naniniwala ako, you're the best person right now to lead, no? So, alam mo yun, that's a conversation na galing sa puso. Hindi lang siya galing sa brain, di ba? Galing sa puso siya. And maybe that's what we need more of, di ba? More people talking from their hearts, no?
Heart to heart. Oh, so at the end of the day, parang person to person pa rin yung campaigning na mangyayari, di ba? If I were to ask you, based on how you personally know her, how would you describe the VP? And why do you think she is actually, the best person for the job?
Well, one, because she really cares. She genuinely cares. Talagang importante sa kanya na yung mga tao na gusto niyang tulungan, natulungan talaga. You know, hindi sila numero, hindi sila statistic, mga tao talaga na, kahit yung e-consulta, siya mismo yung nag-ano doon nagsa-staff siya ng e-consulta nila sometimes para makausap niya yung mga tao directly. So that's number one. That's really big. Kasi, you know a lot of politicians, sometimes no, they get masyado ng mataas, di ba? Parang malayo na yung mga tao sa kanila. With the VP, baliktad. She's always very close to the people. Secondly, is that she gets things done. Sobrang siyang driven. And this is a side of her na hindi nakikita ng mga tao. Pero kung meron siyang gustong gawin, di talaga siya titigil until she gets it done. That's two. That's the integrity niya. No? Known her for a couple of years already. Walang bahid ng korupsyon. She's very particular about things na medyo maybe sabihin mo ng alanganin or ganyan, hindi talaga niya gagawin yon. No? She has that integrity. And that's what we need right now. We need people who will work hard, will really care for our people, at yung alam mo talaga hindi ka nanakawan. No? Because G3, isipin mo, tayo yung isang bansa na pinakamaraming inutang sa mundo. And yet, pagdating sa mga services na nakukuha ng mga kababayan natin, no, parang kulang pa rin. Or pag nakita mo yung bansa natin na ang baba sa mga ranking sa COVID resilience, talagang dudugo yung puso. Diba? So, we need someone who will treat the people's money with respect, na gamitin yun sa tama, sisiguraduhin niya na mapupunta talaga yun sa mga tao na nangangailangan, and masipag at talagang gagawin niya yung lahat to make sure it gets done. It sounds really basic, but honestly, yun yung kailangan natin ngayon. That's what we need to get out of this crisis.
And do you think 6 years is enough to get out of this, hole that we're in?
No, alam mo, unfortunately, no, medyo
So dapat talaga may long-term, planning, no?
Dapat may continuity kahit papaano. A lot of our friends, a lot of our batchmates, marami sa mga kaibigan natin have said na kung hindi magbago yung direksyon ng bayan, they'll migrate o aalis sila ng bansa. Marami talagang naging desperado no, sa mga nangyayari. Especially our friends na mga negosyante. Our friends who are who feel the difficulty right now. If I think itong mga nanonood sa'yo, we all feel naman the same way na kailangan ng change of direction yung bansa natin. Kung isipin mo, sino sa mga to can really change the course of our country dun sa tamang papupuntahan, I think it becomes very clear na si VP na yun. That's Leni Robredo.
That's true. I want to ask naman about Senator Kiko Pangilinan, di ba? The choice of him as the running mate was, it was pretty, in a way, unexpected, di ba? Was he the first choice?
Well, initially, the Vice President really wanted to unite the opposition. No? So for some time, yung posisyon na yon parang naka-reserve talaga siya for somebody from another group or from another party. Yun talaga yung intention because maaga pa lang, VP already said gusto niya mag-unite yung iba't ibang grupo sa opposition. But when it was
it reserved for Manny Pacquiao?
Maraming kinausap, G3. Yung kinausap. But unfortunately, we're here, hindi nga nabuo yun. People wanted to run for president, people wanted to run with another person or whatever. When she chose Kiko, I thought it was, a really good choice because si Kiko
I agree.
He is one of our senators, hindi mukha, because he still has that youthful glow, Dax. Pero he's one of our senators who's the most senior already sa Senado. Siya na yung isa sa pinakamahabang tenure doon. He's been in the executive, he's been in the legislative, marami na siyang experience, and that tandem, I think, brings a lot of stability no, sa tandem nila. No? Hindi siya parang it gives a lot of gravitas, no? Parang, seryoso tong. Secondly, yung focus ni Sen Kiko for the longest time has been agri and food.
Agriculture.
And that's something na talagang kailangan natin ngayon. Marami sa mga farmers natin, hirap na hirap talaga sila with the importation, with the pandemic.
True.
Marami nagugutom. And how do we get more food to our countrymen? Kasi kung tutuusin G3, kung yung totals lang pinag-uusapan, dapat walang nagugutom sa Pilipinas. There's more than enough for everyone. But because hindi tama yung distribution, medyo may mga structures na alam natin hindi makatarungan, hindi nakakakain yung iba nating kababayan. So, Sen Kiko, I think we lead the charge to make sure na walang magugulo at yung
Trade
farmer.
agreements, yeah, I agree. Trade agreements that make it unfair for local, farmers na mas favor yung mga ibang farmers. Tama ka, importation and everything. Especially since the VP doesn't have like a clear, program for farmers, for Philippine farmers or agriculture. Parang it makes perfect sense that it's Kiko Pangilinan kasi parang he's the one who's gonna balance it out. What can you say about him personally? Like the way that you know him. And of course, you're going to be campaign manager for him also effectively, diba? So I also know him personally. Of course, I'm very good friends with Sharon and of course Casey. So what can you say about him personally? What do you think? Kasi diba parang if you look at it, parang tatanungin mo yung winnability factor. Actually, I'm going to have him on after you next week. So I feel like parang he's the logical, correct choice. But then you will look at all the other candidates and you think na parang, oh my gosh, baka hindi manalo, diba? So what are you going to do based on your personal knowledge of him to convince people to vote for him actually as the best candidate for the vice presidential position?
I think the Senator Kiko, if ever, I think both of them will start to increase little by little across the months now. So hopefully, if the vice president does get there, Kiko is right there with her. The campaign is integrated. He'll be joining the VP a lot sa mga lakad niya. But siguro more than that, just to take a step back. When I was first in government, I was still in my 20s. So medyo matagal na to. And
you're giving away, sa bagay, alam naman ng mga tao kung ilang taon ka.
Tayo!
Wow!
Si Senator Kiko, he was the young senator when I was in my 20s and in the National Youth Commission. He was, I think, 35 or 36 when he was in the Senate. So kami yung magka-tandem. Siya yung young senator, supporting a lot of youth leaders. Ako yung nasa National Youth Commission, still a student leader. And then, when I became senator at 35 or 36, he was out of the Senate because yun yung time niya na naka-break siya and he was in the cabinet of Pinoy. And then he entered in 2016. And doon kami nagkasabay for the last 3 years. And, he will always be one of my mentors. He was my campaign manager in 2013 when I first ran. And he's somebody I really, really look up to. Alam mo si Sen Kiko. Of course, he's known as a senator. Tagal na ng senador, di ba? But yung real, how do I say it? Yung parang, he's still that student activist of the 80s. Yun pa rin siya, at his core. That's still him. That idealism is still there. That fire, is still there. And paminsan-minsan, pag nagagalit yan sa Senate, lumalabas yung kanyang student activist days, yung UP days niya. And in that way, doon kami talaga nag-bond or nag-connect because he may have been a senator for practically 20 years already, pero yung puso noon isa pa rin student activist, isa pa rin aktivista. And he's one of the nicest guys I know. Another one na over so many years, walang bahid ng korupsyon, never an allegation on corruption, and very, very clear yung agenda niya for agriculture. So he's really, siya talaga yung magandang katandem ni Ma'am, and I hope they both make it.
Yes, as I do hope so also. But parang it's also a big risk for him, diba? Kasi syempre sure win siya as a senator, re-electionist, diba? But this is such a big risk for him also, and we both hope that they both make it, and we'll do everything that we can, that happens, diba? So, I'm winding this up. Thank you so much for joining me for an hour. I know that, oh my gosh, sobra sigurong busy because of all of the preparations and everything. But yeah, I want to ask you because, di ba, parang I feel like I saw in one of your interviews, I think this was with Karen Davila, and she asked you na if you feel that the Aquino, era is over, di ba? Parang, and you said na parang, yeah, it's sort of a new era and stuff. I don't know, I remember, but I saw that interview. But I want to ask, like, with the death of your cousin, our former president, Noy Aquino, diba? What are the things that you learned from him, and what do you think, what's the effect of his death, this year to the Filipino people?
Alam mo, it's still a little shocking for me that he has passed away. Parang hindi tanggapin na that he's gone, no? He was a young guy. He was also one of my mentors, one of the best people I knew. seriously, G3, one of the best people I knew. No? He was a true believer in the Filipino people. Never niya, hindi siya nawalan ng tiwala sa taong bayan. He always believed, ako naman, pinagdadaanan natin. In the end, we will find our way. No, of course, leadership will help us find our way.
Yes. Sana, oh my God. Oo.
Can find our way also. No? So, until the day that he died, he cared about the country. He was worried about where we were headed. It's very unfortunate na wala na siya. You know, si Pinoy, when he died, I think it was a wake-up call for a lot of us.
Yes.
Marami sa mga kababayan natin naalala yung time na may mga leaders naman pala tayo na hindi mo kinu-question yung integrity, hindi mo kinu-question yung corruption, pero you know, pwede mo questionin yung mga polisiya, pwede mong questionin yung mga ibang ginagawa ng gobyerno, pero hindi ka naman mumurahin, hindi ka naman ikukulong.
Oo.
People started to remember, okay, hindi pala ganun katagal yun, di ba? That wasn't that long ago na may ganun tayo. And I will admit, no, for those of us around him, maybe even the Vice President, no, yung death niya parang wake-up call rin siya, no? We have to do more. Isa siyang tao, G3, na walang tinira. No? Wala siyang tinira sa sarili niya. He gave it all. And, you know, I think the Vice President choosing to do this because she had other options. There was a time she wanted to retire. There was a time she was thinking of running for local office or even just taking a step back from 5.5 years of criticism and fake news, di ba? Pero kung nakita mo si Pinoy na walang tinira sa sarili niya, parang kahit pa paano, mapaisip ka na, you know, kung gusto mo talagang, you know, if you want to be in the space of public service, hindi ka pwedeng selfish. Kailangan talaga ibigay mo lahat. I'd like to think the VP kasama yon sa kanyang deliberation process ng pagtakbo na gusto rin niyang ibigay yung lahat na mabibigay niya. Like Pinoy.
That's very true. That's very true. Okay, so like my show is essentially an entertainment show. So like I wanna ask you, like Chris Aquino announced her engagement last night. So how do you feel about the engagement of your other cousin, Chris Aquino?
Oh, that's great. Tech Mel is such a nice guy, great guy, wonderful, wonderful person. So syempre, you know, I'm happy for her, no?
Do you think that they're bagay? I mean, like personality and everything. Like, do you think they're bagay? They're right for each other?
Yeah, I think so. I've never seen them together. Syempre, pandemic. I've talked to Mel separately, but you know, I think you know, finding love, you know, is the best. I think finding love is the best. So we should just open our hearts and just be totally supportive and happy of people who find love, di ba?
So you think this is the right one for her now? Like finally, eventually, totally.
Yeah. Supportive tayo dyan. Supportive tayo dyan.
Oo, masayang-masaya tayo for her. As a last question, I want to ask you, like, what advice and how do this is a call to action actually for, you know, Ateneans in our batch, Ateneans that are not in our batch, you know, the Ateneo community in general. How can we help?
Well, unang-una, we have to be proud to be pink. No, yung panahon na tahimik lang tayo or lagi tayong careful, those days are done. Kailangan proud tayo maging pink because believe me, G3, kung mas marami kang mga kaibigan na naka-pink, mas malakas yung loob mo to go out and campaign. You know, the pink explosion, which, you know, really exploded in the last couple of weeks, it was a sign Parang sinyalis siya sa taong bayan na it's time to get out, diba? It's time to get out of our foxhole. It's time to really, you know, wear our hearts on our sleeve because we want something better for the country. Kaya ituloy natin yung pagiging proud, number 1. Number 2, let's organize. Let's do our own thing, no? It's a people's campaign, ang saya-saya. Kanya-kanyang design, kanya-kanyang gawa. Let's continue that spirit, no? But third and most important, let's make sure na nangangampanya tayo. We're able to talk to people, heart to heart, tao sa tao, puso sa puso, kausapin natin yung mga kasama natin because sa mga kakampik natin kasama, malayo pa po tayo, malayo pa yung Mayo, it's almost 200 days away, at malayo pa tayo sa mga numero na gusto nating maabot. We have to convince more and more people to really vote for Leni and Kiko and of course, vote for good governance, vote for good people. Mahalaga yan. And that's an everyday thing. If every day, meron tayong kumbinse, aabot tayo sa winning circle come May.
Thank you. I mean, like, going into this interview, I was really thinking that, parang it's really going to be an online campaign. It's going to, it's going to be the arena. But then you've convinced me that it's still basically the traditional way of campaigning. It's person to person. It's really, knocking on doors and talking to people and, like sharing your heart.
Art.
That's a great approach, actually. Kasi parang now it's really very combative. It's, parang sides, 'di ba? Parang Aquino Marcos pa rin siya in a way, parang ganyan, 'di ba? But like what you said, if you approach a person and if you convince a person, if you talk to a person through your heart, from your heart every day, and you are able to convince them, 'di ba? That's a more effective way of campaigning. And I hope that happens, 'di ba? I hope everyone has the passion, the fortitude, and the patience to actually campaign that way. So thank you very much. But oh my God, it's been a long time coming. Thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time. Please let us know how we can help. Please let me know how I can help. Thank you so much. Thank you to Lisa and to Von.
Thank you, G3. Salamat. I know you're one of the most vocal classmates ko ever. Thank you for being proud to be pink. And malaking bagay, when people come out at matapang, yung tapang nakakahawa. Yung pagkatakot nakakahawa rin, pero yung pagkatapang mas nakakahawa. Yun yung kailangan natin ngayon. So thank you so much. And to all of the 300, kanina 300 viewers, now 288, thank you.
Good luck, God bless, and laban tayo. Bye. Thank you.